All right, we've covered the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. Now we're moving into one of the rarer, more mysterious groups in UFO and contactee literature. The Andromedans. Unlike the Greys with their abduction cases, the Nordics with their face-to-face meetings, or the Arcturians with their widespread channeling, Andromedans appear in far fewer sources. There are no famous crashed craft, no mass witness events, no implants, no high-profile military leaks tied directly to them, at least not in the public record. Everything we know comes from a very small handful of channeled messages, telepathic contacts, and secondhand whistleblower-style claims. The information is sparse, but within those limited sources it's remarkably consistent, and it's almost entirely metaphysical rather than nuts and bolts. The overwhelming majority of what's out there traces back to one man, Alex Collier. Collier is a self-described contactee from the Chicago area. He says his first conscious encounter happened in 1964 when he was just 8 years old. A being appeared to him and began a lifelong relationship of guidance, mostly telepathic, sometimes in person. The contacts continued through the 1980s and 1990s, and he went public in the mid-1990s with lectures, audio tapes, and eventually a book. His two main Andromedan contacts are beings he calls Visayas, an elder, mentor figure, and Heru, a younger guide. Both are from the Zenitai star system in the Andromeda galaxy, about 2.5 million light-years away. Collier says they belong to what he calls the Andromedan Council, or the Andromedan Elders, a benevolent, governing body representing multiple civilizations across that galaxy. Collier first started sharing this publicly in the early to mid-1990s. His peak disclosure period was 1994 to 1996, when he gave a series of lectures at UFO conferences, private meetings, and small gatherings around the USA, especially in the Chicago area, California, and Arizona. Those talks were recorded audio and some video, and many are still available online today on YouTube and old UFO archive sites. In 1996 to 1997, when he gave a series of lectures at UFO conferences, private meetings, and small gatherings around the USA, especially in the Chicago area, California, and Arizona. Those talks were recorded audio and some video, and many are still available online today on YouTube and old UFO archive sites. In 1996 to 1997, he self-published his main book, Defending Sacred Ground: The Story of the Andromeda Council. That book, along with transcripts of his 1994 to 2000s lectures, remains the foundational and basically the only comprehensive primary source on Andromedans in English. So, what do they look like, according to Collier? He describes Visayas and Heru as extremely tall, 7 to 8 feet, sometimes even a bit more. Very slender, elongated, almost frail-looking by human standards, with long limbs and a delicate frame. Their skin is deep blue to violet blue, smooth and uniform, sometimes with a slight iridescent or metallic sheen. No hair at all, completely bald heads. Large almond-shaped eyes, very dark, almost black, with no visible pupils or irises in most descriptions. Those eyes are said to convey immense age, wisdom, compassion, and a kind of quiet melancholy or ancient sadness. High foreheads, small nose and mouth, elongated skull shape, no external ears. Overall appearance is calm, ancient, and somewhat sorrowful. They wear loose flowing robes or garments in deep blue, violet, white, or silver tones. The material looks part energy field, part fabric. It shifts subtly. No armor, no insignias, no belts or mechanical devices visible. Collier stresses that this is their projected or condensed form for human interaction. In their natural state, he says, they exist as pure consciousness or light without fixed physicality. Communication is almost entirely telepathic and multi-layered. Collier says he didn't just get words, he received complete concepts, emotions, images, historical context, and energetic impressions all at once. The tone is calm, patient, deeply compassionate, authoritative, and slightly melancholic, never aggressive, condescending, or fearful. Visayas speaks more slowly and deliberately. Hiru is a bit more direct but equally loving. The core messages are consistent across his lectures and book. Humanity is at a critical evolutionary crossroads. Earth is a living library of genetic diversity and a contested zone because of its strategic location and resources. Multiple extraterrestrial groups, both benevolent and regressive, have influenced human history for millennia. The Andromedan Council is a 12-member governing body of elders from different worlds. It operates by consensus, no hierarchy. Earth has been under a form of quarantine and observation for thousands of years due to genetic tampering and manipulation by regressive groups: Anunnaki, certain Greys, Reptilians, Orion Alliance. A dimensional or density shift is underway, originally predicted around 2013 to 2015. Later reframed as an ongoing process, humanity faces a clear choice: fear/control or love/freedom. The Andromedans will not intervene militarily or force change. They will only share information with those who ask and are ready to hear uncomfortable truths. Nuclear weapons, environmental destruction, and manipulation of consciousness are the greatest threats to our path. Collier also described a larger galactic conflict: benevolent federations, including Andromedans, Pleiadians, and others, versus regressive alliances. The Andromedans position themselves as neutral mediators, trying to prevent escalation and open conflict in this sector. Now, credibility notes. Collier has never produced physical evidence, no photos. No implants, no metal samples, nothing comparable to Billy Meier or even early contactees. His material is entirely testimonial and telepathic. He's faced accusations of fabrication, especially after some predictions, density shift around 2013, didn't manifest literally. Supporters point to his consistency over decades. Lack of significant financial motive, he never sold books commercially on a large scale, and the emotional authenticity in his lectures. Whether you accept it or not, Alex Collier's account is by far the single most extensive, detailed, and influential Andromedan narrative in existence. Virtually every modern reference to Andromedans on forums, YouTube, blogs, secondary books, the rarest and most elusive species in UFO lore. They're not abductors, not physical visitors in the classic sense. They're elder mediators from 2.5 million light years away, watching, guiding when asked, and warning us about choices that could affect not just Earth, but this entire sector of the galaxy. Hit that like button if you're already hooked, subscribe so you don't miss the rest, and drop in the comments. Have you ever come across Andromedan material before, Collier? Or do you think this is one of the most intriguing ET groups out there? Let's see what you think. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. See you next time.